Now, money isn't everything, it just ranks somewhere between water and oxygen, doesn't it? We just can't do without it, and it is the reason we go to work. Now, I'd like to extend to you an invitation to a special workshop about money, and I believe this can provide the equivalent of a pay rise immediately. Now, why do I say that? Well, it's not how much we earn, it's what we do with it that counts. And this workshop is crammed full of useful, relevant ideas on day-to-day money issues which affect all of us. We talk about investments in property, in shares, funds and superannuation. There's a section on houses and home loans and even buying motor vehicles. There's also a technique which shows how to manage money on the home front without budgeting. People love that one. Most importantly, it's simple and easy to understand. It's just neutral information and ideas about money for your benefit. In fact, why don't we do a little example now on just one of the many techniques that are shown in the course. In just a couple of minutes, I'll show you how to save or make over $80,000 next time you get a loan from a bank.
Now, there are quite a number of ways to save money on a home loan or a property loan. But what I'm going to show you here is why most people get burnt, and I mean really burnt, every time they get a new loan. There's just a couple of things that I'd like to point out. Number one is that we're going to be talking about a standard principal and interest loan. Most of these loans are provided over a 30-year period. I'm going to use an average of 8% interest in my example. Although most loans are provided as a 30-year loan, the reality is we don't have a loan for that long, as we quite often refinance quite a number of times through our lifetime. In fact, the average home loan is refinanced every 3 years. So this means we do something like we sell this house and buy another one, or do a renovation or invest. It doesn't matter, we might even just go to a different bank or to a broker just to get a better deal on a lower interest rate. Now let's have a look at the impact of this on you. Let's imagine that we have a $360,000 home loan. Now that is the average home loan in Australia at present. Let's assume it is over a 30-year period. And let's also assume that it's an average 8% interest rate. Now what the bank or the lender does is they use a complex formula where they take the $360,000 multiplied over 8% over 30 years, and they come up with what's called an amortized payment. And this payment would be approximately $2,640 per month on this particular loan. Now you'll have seen the charts or graphs showing how these loans get paid off, and they start off flatter up in this area and tend to come down more steeply over here. That is because this amortized payment does not change, but the proportion that you get versus what the bank gets does change. For example, in the early stages of this loan, approximately $2,400 of this per month is interest to the bank or to the lender. For you, it is only $240 in principal. This is the part that you are paying off the principal. The interest is just at the cost of doing it. So as you can see, these things can take a long time to pay off, because very, very slowly you get more and the bank gets less as the months go by. However, it takes 22 years approximately before the loan is half paid off. Now, here is this first problem that occurs with most people when they refinance. Let's draw a line 3 years out, because that is the average time that a person has a home loan for before they refinance it. Now let's imagine we worked for 3 years paying our loan off, and then we went back to the bank or to the broker and we decided to refinance our loan. Almost on every occasion, the position that we will start the new loan from will be back at the beginning. It's not the bank's fault, it's just how it's done. Now, let's bring this into context. How much are our home loan payments each month? They're $2,640. So that's actually $2,640 times 12 equals $31,680 per year. And if we do that for 3 years, we actually pay $95,040 in payments. Now that's okay, but how much of the house did we actually pay off? How much of this was actually ours? Well, it starts off at only $240 a month. We do get a little bit more here as the months go on, but on average we'd be lucky if it was $250 a month for this first period of time. If we multiply that by 12, we get approximately $3,000 per year, and if we do that for 3 years we get $9,000. Now if we go back to the bank and refinance our loan, after 3 years, we might as well take $86,040 and burn it, because that's just what we did. We are now going to pay almost the same interest all over again. Some people say to me, that can't be possible. I promise you it is. Check it out on a loan calculator if you don't believe me. So, how do we avoid losing $86,000 when we refinance this loan? Believe it or not, it's actually quite simple. All we need to do is next time we refinance or get a new loan, we simply ask for the loan to be 3 years shorter than the one we had previously. That means we don't repeat the previous 3 years. How do we do that? It's one thing we will be covering in the workshop.
Okay, I hope you found that little bit of information helpful. There's possibly 20 or 30 such examples used in the workshop itself. This course could really make a difference to your career, your personal wealth and your life in general. If you can come along, I promise you'll be really glad you did.